Listen, son. A man can waste 10 years talking about change and never take a single step. He reads the quotes, watches the videos, writes the goals. But every morning he wakes up as the same man, just slightly more disappointed than yesterday. The world doesn't lack information, it lacks transformation. Because transformation demands what most men fear: destruction. Not of their comfort, not of their enemies, but of themselves. Let me tell you a story. A boy killed his first opponent at 13, not out of anger, out of instinct. The duel was brutal and fast. When it ended, the boy looked at his hands and saw what power could do if left undisciplined. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and instead of chasing fame for the victory, he vanished. No one knew where he went. No home, no teacher, no crowd. Just mountains, silence, solitude.
Listen, son. A man can waste 10 years talking about change and never take a single step. He reads the quotes, watches the videos, writes the goals. But every morning, he wakes up as the same man, just slightly more disappointed than yesterday. The world doesn't lack information, it lacks transformation. Because transformation demands what most men fear: destruction. Not of their comfort, not of their enemies, but of themselves. Let me tell you a story. A boy killed his first opponent at 13, not out of anger, out of instinct. The duel was brutal and fast. When it ended, the boy looked at his hands and saw what power could do if left undisciplined. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and instead of chasing fame for the victory, he vanished. No one knew where he went. No home, no teacher, no crowd. Just mountains, silence, solitude. He spent years in exile, but those who understood power knew he wasn't running, he was rebuilding. He trained until his arms shook. He studied philosophy until dawn. He meditated until his breath slowed to stillness. And when he finally returned to the world, he was unrecognizable, not because he learned something new, but because he became something else. That's the lesson. Transformation doesn't need a decade. It only needs your full surrender for 3 months. 3 months of brutality. 3 months of structure. 3 months of facing the truth you've avoided for years. You see, men love to romanticize time. They say things like, "Give me a few years," or "I'm working on myself." But what they're really saying is, "I'm afraid to commit fully now." Because commitment burns. It strips away identity. It kills comfort. And the samurai understood this. They didn't wait for perfect timing. They made time bow to them. Every day was a duel. Every sunrise was a test. They didn't count the years of training. They counted how many moments of complete focus they could stack without breaking. Most men will never know that kind of intensity, because they still believe change comes slowly, gently, like progress on a calendar. But real transformation is violent. It's the collapse of an old self. It's the quiet burning of habits, excuses, and patterns that once kept you safe. Musashi didn't find enlightenment in luxury. He found it in suffering. He built power out of isolation, and he didn't measure his growth in days. He measured it in deaths. Every version of himself that couldn't survive the discipline had to die. So understand this: the clock is not your enemy. Comfort is. The problem isn't that you don't have enough time, it's that you waste the time you have living like you have more. You don't need a year to change your life. You need 90 days of ruthless consistency, 90 days of silence, 90 days of focus so sharp it cuts your old habits in half, 90 days where you stop negotiating with weakness. 3 months. That's all it takes to become unrecognizable if you're willing to do what most men never will. Because transformation isn't about changing what you do, it's about destroying who you've been. And that's the truth every man hides from. You don't need more time, you need more clarity, more precision, more brutality. 3 months, one mission, total evolution. And when those 90 days are over, you won't just be stronger, you'll be still. You'll move like Musashi, calm, dangerous, deliberate. Because the man who can change himself in 3 months can command the rest of his life. Every rebirth begins with a funeral. The first month is demolition, killing the habits, environments, and excuses that keep you mediocre. We begin with the samurai principle of kaizen through subtraction, not adding routines, but removing rot. Delete distractions, cut the noise, detach from validation, silence the comfort that keeps you weak. The samurai burned what no longer served them, clothes, homes, identities, and started over from nothing. You must do the same. This section teaches the listener to identify everything in his life that dulls his edge, people, apps, habits, thoughts, and to execute clean detachment. Transformation doesn't begin with addition, it begins with annihilation. You can't upgrade a system you refuse to rebuild.
Listen, son. 3 months, 90 days. That's all it takes to become unrecognizable. But only if you understand what transformation actually demands. Most men think change takes years. They think discipline is a slow build, a quiet climb up some invisible mountain. They wait for motivation, for better circumstances, for someone to see their potential. But time doesn't reward the man who waits. It rewards the one who bleeds with purpose. Miyamoto Musashi killed his first opponent at 13. Then he disappeared. No applause, no mentor, no comfort. Just exile, cold air, empty silence, and the sound of his own heartbeat echoing through the dark. The world thought he was gone, but in that silence, he was sharpening. Every day he swung his sword against the wind, not for practice, but for war. Every strike killed a weaker version of himself. Every moment of pain rewrote his identity. When he finally emerged, he wasn't a boy with potential anymore. He was a legend. Not because time changed him, but because he used time like a weapon. That's what most men will never understand. They think transformation is about how long it takes. No, it's about how deep you're willing to go. 3 months of obsession will outwork 10 years of half-hearted effort. 90 days of silence will teach you what a decade of noise can't. Because transformation isn't measured in time, it's measured in intensity. But here's the problem. Most men can't handle intensity. They confuse comfort for peace. They confuse routine for progress. They confuse activity for direction. So they live their lives recycling the same weak version of themselves, praying that one day it'll magically evolve into something greater. It never does, because comfort kills transformation faster than failure ever could. Musashi understood that. That's why he left the village. That's why he rejected the applause. He knew that real power grows in isolation, not validation. He knew that silence is the forge where warriors are made. You don't need more time. You've had enough years. You've had enough chances. What you need now is clarity, the kind that strips you bare and forces you to see yourself as you are. You need structure, the kind that doesn't negotiate with your feelings. And you need brutality, the kind that kills your weakness before your weakness kills you. That's the samurai method. 3 months, 1 mission, total evolution. Not self-improvement, self-erasure. Because the man you are now cannot lead the life you want. In 3 months, you can rebuild your habits, your focus, your mind. You can become sharper than your excuses, colder than your doubts, stronger than your fears. But you must be willing to vanish, like Musashi. You must be willing to leave the world behind, to embrace boredom, pain, repetition, silence. Because that's where your real identity waits. You don't need a new year. You don't need a new opportunity. You need war with yourself. And in 90 days, if you fight right, you'll look in the mirror and see a stranger staring back, stronger, colder, quieter, unstoppable. That's transformation. Not in theory, in blood. Listen, son. You've been building on rot, stacking goals on top of weakness, layering ambition over decay, and you wonder why nothing holds. Every rebirth begins with a funeral. Every new chapter requires a death. This is month 1, the destruction phase. Before a samurai ever sharpened his blade, he stripped himself of everything that made him soft. Home, possessions, attachment, even his name. Because before you can become someone new, you must kill the man you've been protecting. Look around your life. Everything you own owns you. Every habit you've tolerated defines you. Every distraction you've excused is a brick in your own prison. You think you need motivation. You don't. You need demolition. Let's start with truth, raw, unfiltered, and unkind. Your environment has been designed to keep you comfortable, not powerful. Every ping, every scroll, every mindless hour online feeds your weakness. You're drowning in entertainment while your potential starves. The samurai called this mental rot, the slow death of clarity. So the first commandment is this: burn the old self. Not literally, psychologically, spiritually, habitually. Take inventory of your life like a war strategist preparing for battle. Ask yourself, what do I do daily that keeps me ordinary? Who do I speak to that feeds my comfort? What do I consume that dulls my edge? And then cut, without mercy, without explanation. Delete the apps that keep you scrolling. Mute the voices that make you complacent. Detach from validation, the need to be seen, liked, understood. Silence the comfort that keeps you weak. This is not self-improvement. This is war. You are here not to add, you are here to subtract. Kaizen, through subtraction, that's the samurai principle. Not the constant search for more, but the disciplined removal of what doesn't serve the mission. The samurai would burn their possessions before battle to remind themselves that retreat was not an option. No home to return to, no comfort to crawl back into. Only forward, only sharper. You must do the same. Burn your fallback plan. Destroy your comfort zones. If it makes you feel safe, it's slowing you down.
Understand this. Transformation is not built on addition. It's built on annihilation. You can't upgrade a system that's infected. You rebuild it from scratch. The man you are today is built on habits that reward survival, not dominance. That's why you hesitate. That's why you scroll instead of build, talk instead of act, wish instead of work. So this month, you perform your own funeral. You bury the weaker self,
the lazy self, the one addicted to noise, validation, and comfort. You starve him out. You let silence become your companion, not your enemy. You let boredom sharpen your mind until the itch to check your phone feels like poison. And when it hurts, good. It means something is dying. Every man who's ever changed his life has had to die first. The old identity doesn't surrender quietly. It fights. It tempts you with comfort, nostalgia, distraction. It tells you you've done enough, but you haven't. Not yet. You are not here to feel better. You are here to become dangerous. And danger cannot coexist with comfort. So strip your life bare. Wake up earlier. Move in silence. Train your body like a weapon. Read instead of scroll. Walk instead of talk. Choose isolation over attention. Choose clarity over comfort. And one day, soon, you'll look around and realize the man who craved validation, who lived for distraction, who couldn't go a day without noise, he's gone. Dead. Buried. Forgotten. In his place stands someone colder, sharper, focused. A man who doesn't chase, he builds. A man who doesn't beg, he earns. A man who doesn't wait for time, he uses it like a blade. That's the first step to transformation. Not creation, destruction. Burn the old self until there's nothing left but discipline, silence, and war. Because only in that fire does the real man appear. Listen carefully. You think change begins when you start doing more. It doesn't. Change begins when you stop lying to yourself. The man you are right now, he's built on excuses layered so deep you've mistaken them for identity. You tell yourself, I just need consistency. No. You need a cleansing. You need to take a blade to everything that's been dulling you. Every habit that buys you comfort is costing you power. Every soft indulgence is a tax on your potential. Every maybe tomorrow is another brick sealing your coffin. The samurai had no later. They understood one law. Delay is decay. If you delay your rebirth by a day, you extend your mediocrity by a lifetime. So, here's what you do. You don't start with goals. You start with a purge. For 7 days, you audit your existence like a forensic investigator. You track your hours. You study your distractions. You name your poison. Every time you reach for your phone, every time you choose ease over effort, you write it down. You confront your patterns until they disgust you. Because disgust is holy. It's the emotion that births change. You'll never rise until you're sick of your own reflection. That's what Musashi understood. After his first kill at 13, he vanished for years, not to rest, but to erase. He didn't seek new teachers. He unlearned the noise. He stripped his technique to nothing but essence. He knew that before mastery comes emptiness. You must build that emptiness. Empty your environment of stimulation. Empty your schedule of distraction. Empty your identity of labels that keep you weak. You're not a creative. You're not an entrepreneur. You're a man training for war. The war between who you are and who you could be. And in this war, mercy is betrayal. You don't negotiate with the parts of yourself that want to rest. You don't comfort the voice that says, it's fine, take a break. You execute it, quickly, cleanly, without debate. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You don't rise by addition. You rise by deletion. You don't become great by chasing habits. You become great by removing interference. You want to transform in 3 months? Then in the first 30 days, you destroy the foundations of mediocrity. You make every day a ritual of removal. You remove excuses. You remove noise. You remove people who slow you down. You reduce your life to essentials: training, work, reflection, rest. Nothing else. People will call it extreme. They'll say you're isolating yourself. They'll call you obsessive. Good. Obsession is what normal people call focus. Understand, this is the purification stage, the phase where silence feels unbearable because you've never met yourself without distraction. You'll realize how addicted you were to noise, to validation, to motion that meant nothing. That's the death you must die. No applause, no witnesses, just you sitting in silence, dismantling your old life piece by piece. And when the silence starts speaking back, that's when the destruction is working. In those moments, don't run from the discomfort. Sit in it. Let it burn. Every ounce of boredom is a muscle rebuilding focus. Every urge to quit is a whisper from the corpse of your old self, begging for one more chance to live. Don't listen. You're not here to negotiate with the dead. You're here to bury him. By the end of month 1, your life should feel stripped, minimal, quiet, precise. If it doesn't, you haven't gone deep enough. You still care too much about comfort. You still believe you can change and stay soft. You can't. Real transformation is violent, not on the outside, but within. The man who wants to evolve must first become his own executioner. So burn the bridge back to comfort. Kill the version of you that survives on distractions. And when there's nothing left but silence and hunger, that's when the new man begins to breathe. Because the samurai knew, death is not the end, it's the reset. And this is how your 90 days begin, with ash, silence, and the smell of something new being forged in fire.
Listen, son. The second phase is where most men fall. Not because it's hard, but because it's quiet. There's no thrill in repetition, no applause in routine. Just the same morning, over and over, until you forget what excitement feels like. But that's where the transformation happens, in the monotony that everyone else runs from. When the samurai woke, they didn't start their day with thought. They started with motion, cold water, sword drills, silence. Their mornings were not for stimulation, they were for synchronization. Mind, body, purpose, aligned before the world even opened its eyes. That's how you build a war routine. You wake at the same hour every day, not because it's early, but because it's non-negotiable. You move before your mind wakes up to debate it. You train before you talk. You sweat before you scroll. You give your body the command before your brain finds excuses. That's the rule. Act first, think later. Because thinking is where most men lose. You eat to function, not to feel good. You stop rewarding yourself with poison and calling it pleasure. Food becomes fuel. Water becomes weapon. Sleep becomes strategy. You treat your body like a soldier treats his blade. Maintain it, sharpen it, respect it. Understand this. You're not building habits. You're building programming. You're turning your routine into a script your body executes without hesitation. The goal isn't motivation, it's automation. Motivation fades when emotion shifts, but systems survive storms. The samurai called it kata, disciplined repetition of form. Swing the sword 1,000 times, even when your hands bleed. Not because you enjoy it, because it's what must be done. The point wasn't perfection, it was possession. When the sword became part of the arm, the man could no longer separate himself from his discipline. You must become that. Your structure must own you. So you set anchors. The same wake time, the same workout hour, the same reflection window, until time itself starts to bend around your discipline. At first, your mind will resist. It will scream for novelty. It will crave chaos. That's withdrawal, the pain of a mind detoxing from distraction. Ignore it, because what feels like boredom is the birth of focus. Every day, repeat your code. No negotiation, no emotion, no validation. The man who trains by emotion stays weak. The man who trains by order becomes lethal. Here's how it works in practice. You wake, no phone, no conversation. You move immediately. You eat cleanly, no indulgence. You work in silence. You rest intentionally. You repeat over and over until you no longer remember discipline. You embody it. You'll notice something after a few weeks. Your body starts to move before your mind tells it to. You wake seconds before the alarm. You finish tasks faster. You stop thinking in moods. You start thinking in missions. That's the moment of submission, when the body and mind finally surrendered to the system. Understand, this is not about productivity. This is about identity reconstruction. You're teaching your brain who it serves. And here's a truth most men will never accept. Freedom is slavery to the right structure. The samurai weren't disciplined because they had control. They were disciplined because they surrendered control to their code. That's why they never broke. They didn't wake up and decide who to be. They were their routine. You must do the same. You're not allowed to ask, "What do I feel like doing?" anymore. That question belongs to the old you, the one buried in month 1. Now you only ask, "What does the system demand of me?" And you obey, without hesitation, no emotion. Because a man who still negotiates with his plan hasn't understood war. The war routine is not about doing more. It's about removing options. No emotion, no noise, just motion. And as the days pass, you'll begin to see it, the shift. The world still moves chaotically, but you move differently. You operate in rhythm. You execute without friction. You are calm while everyone else is frantic. That's when you realize this is no longer effort. It's identity. You've stopped chasing discipline. You've become it. And when a man reaches that point, he no longer fights to control his day. His day obeys him. That's the power of a designed life. That's the rhythm of a samurai. Listen, son. Every soldier can march for a week. Every fool can wake up early for 10 days. But the true test of a warrior is not how he begins. It's how long he endures the rhythm without applause. The war routine is not about novelty. It's about survival. It's a quiet rebellion against chaos. And to survive it, you must learn to find glory in repetition. The modern man is addicted to stimulation, new goals, new hacks, new dopamine hits. He confuses movement for progress. He swaps systems every Sunday because boredom feels like failure. But a samurai knew the opposite truth. Boredom is the first sign of mastery. If your routine doesn't feel exciting, it means you're finally getting somewhere. Repetition is how you build power in silence. Every day, your discipline compounds, invisibly, quietly, until one morning you wake up and realize you've changed shape. The man in the mirror moves differently. His posture is sharper. His presence is heavier. He walks into a room and the air adjusts. Not because he's better, because he's stable. Understand this: a stable man is a dangerous man. He's the one you can't manipulate, can't predict, can't unseat, because his mind isn't wired for chaos, it's anchored in ritual. But here's where most fail. They confuse intensity with consistency. They sprint for 7 days and burn out by the 8th. The samurai trained through the seasons. Their pace was ruthless but sustainable. They didn't live for explosions, they lived for endurance.
That's the next evolution of your war routine. Controlled fire. You wake up with force, but you move with precision. You don't rush, you execute. You don't scream, you breathe. You do everything like it matters, but you never let anything own your mind. In this phase, you must start tracking your days like a strategist, not like a slave. Every morning, you should know your mission. Every night, your reflection should reveal whether the mission was accomplished. Write it down, measure it, sharpen it. The samurai didn't hope to improve. They documented their growth like generals writing war logs. You must build that same awareness, because without reflection, routine becomes blind repetition. And blind repetition creates robots, not warriors. So each night, when the world sleeps, review your day in silence. Ask yourself 3 questions. Did I move as planned? Did I react emotionally? Did I betray the system? If the answer hurts, good. Pain means precision. Shame means you still care. And remember this: consistency is not about perfection, it's about recovery. Even the samurai missed a stroke, stumbled in form, misjudged an opponent, but they never stayed broken. They recalibrated, not regretted. That's the mindset you need here. You fall, you adjust. You fail, you reframe. You never stop. The code doesn't allow pause, it demands correction. The moment you understand that discipline is not about doing it right every time, but about never staying wrong for long, that's when you've crossed the threshold. That's when routine becomes instinct. You will notice over time that the old self begins to die completely. You no longer crave shortcuts. You no longer chase comfort. You stop checking your phone before sunrise. Stop negotiating with laziness. Stop explaining your silence to people who will never understand it. Because silence has become your teacher. Repetition has become your religion, and your body, your temple.
The war routine isn't glamorous. It's not cinematic. It's not a motivational reel. It's raw, silent, repetitive, and lonely. But it's also holy. You are not becoming disciplined. You are remembering what you were before the world distracted you. By the end of this phase, you'll realize something hauntingly beautiful, that peace doesn't come from rest, it comes from rhythm. And once your life starts to move to that rhythm, no one can pull you off beat again. Listen, son. Every man talks about focus, but few have ever heard what silence sounds like. Because silence is not absence, it's pressure, it's truth. It's the sound of your thoughts, unfiltered, unforgiving, and unmasked. That's why most men run from it. They drown in noise, podcasts, playlists, conversations, notifications, anything to avoid the war inside. But a samurai doesn't run from war, he walks into it. In the 3rd month, you learn the art that separates warriors from wanderers: stillness. Not weakness, not passivity, stillness. The art of complete internal control. When Musashi trained alone in the mountains, he wasn't retreating, he was reprogramming his mind. Each day he sat in silence, sharpening perception until the wind itself became a teacher. Every sound, every breath, every flicker of emotion, data. Nothing escaped him. That's the essence of motion, the mind of no mind, the state where emotion cannot command you and chaos cannot distract you. You move through the world like water, fluid, adaptable, but always intact. You must train this deliberately, not by meditating for aesthetics or pretending to be Zen. You train it through daily silence, structured, deliberate, unbroken quiet. No screens before dawn, no music while thinking, no noise during reflection. You wake up, you breathe, you sit, and you watch your thoughts pass like soldiers in formation. You don't chase them, you don't fight them, you study them. Because the man who studies his thoughts controls them, and the man who controls his thoughts controls his reality. Understand something vital. Your biggest distractions aren't external, they're internal. Overthinking, gout, fear, comparison. These are assassins that kill potential before it takes form. Silence exposes them. You can't outwork what you refuse to confront. You can only outthink it once you see it clearly. This is where transformation becomes spiritual. When you enter silence long enough, something strange happens. Your mind begins to obey you. You no longer chase clarity. Clarity begins to chase you. Decisions become effortless. Reactions become strategic. You begin to sense patterns before they appear, because your perception has expanded beyond noise. This is why the samurai could remain calm in battle. They weren't fearless, they were focused. Their minds were anchored in stillness, while their bodies moved like lightning. They could hear fear in another man's breath, detect deceit in a glance, anticipate motion before it began. That level of control isn't physical, it's psychological. And the modern man must learn it, because the battlefield has changed, but the principle hasn't. The war now is fought in your mind. Every ping, every feed, every meaningless conversation is a blade pointed at your focus. If you can't train silence, you'll live as a servant to noise. So for 30 days, make silence a system. 10 minutes before sunrise, 10 before bed. No scrolling, no talking, no reacting. Just breathing, watching, writing. You'll start noticing details again. Tone, tension, energy. The world slows down when your mind does. You'll realize how much power you've been leaking through small reactions. That sigh when something annoys you. That urge to reply when you should observe. That endless loop of thought over what's already done. Each one trains you. Silence seals the leaks. Because silence is not emptiness, it's armor. You wear it into every meeting, every conflict, every day. It protects your composure. It magnifies your precision. It makes you unreadable. And an unreadable man is an untouchable man. By the end of this phase, your transformation will no longer be visible. It'll be internal. You'll speak less, but every word will carry weight. You'll move slower, but every motion will have meaning. You'll feel calmer, but inside, you'll be sharper than ever. And when people start saying, "You've changed," you won't even need to answer. Because you'll know you didn't change, you became. The man you were training to meet has finally arrived. Listen, son. Ritual without structure collapses under emotion. Discipline without systems is just a phase. That's why men rise fast and fall faster.
Your body can obey for a few weeks. Your mind can endure for a month. But without systems, you'll return to weakness. Not because you lost strength, but because you never built support.
A samurai's life was a system disguised as simplicity. Every gesture had a reason. Every tool had a place. Every movement was measured. Nothing left to chance. You, on the other hand, leave your life to mood. You pray for consistency but refuse to automate it. You want control, but your day runs on randomness. That ends here. You need invisible architecture, routines that lock your habits in place even when your willpower dies. The moment you stop relying on motivation and start relying on mechanism, your evolution becomes permanent. Build systems that speak for you when you're tired. A checklist that doesn't lie. A journal that catches your excuses. A time block that doesn't negotiate. A progress tracker that humbles your ego. You wake, move, create, and reflect the same way every day. That repetition becomes rhythm. That rhythm becomes resilience. Every Sunday, you run an audit. Where did you fall? Where did you waste time? What distracted you? Then you adjust, not emotionally, but mechanically. No guilt, no pride, just correction. Understand this. Men who build systems don't fear failure, because their systems catch them before they fall. They don't need reminders, their environment reminds them. They don't chase balance, their design enforces it. You must become an engineer of your own excellence. Design your workspace, design your sleep, design your meals, design your discipline. When your entire life becomes a machine built for focus, you stop fighting yourself. The man you were becomes obsolete. The man you've built becomes inevitable. And when people ask how you changed so fast, you won't talk about willpower. You'll say one sentence: cold, simple, true. I stopped depending on emotion and started depending on structure. That's how the samurai lived. That's how men transform. And that's how you, if you obey the system, will never break again. Listen, son. Every weak man you know once had strong moments. But moments die. Systems don't. That's why I told you to build a system, not a streak. Streaks depend on energy. Systems depend on design. And design outlives emotion. When a samurai sharpened his blade, he didn't wait to feel ready. It was law, a ritual carved into the day. No variation, no delay. His blade stayed sharp because his schedule was sacred. You too must sharpen your mind the same way. Not once in a while, daily. Whether you feel powerful or pathetic, the system doesn't bend. It holds you accountable when your will fails. Let me teach you the formula. Discipline is equal to structure plus execution minus emotion. The average man wakes when he feels like it, eats when he craves, works when he's inspired. Then he wonders why his life feels unstable. But the disciplined man doesn't rely on inspiration. He relies on infrastructure. He builds a pattern that keeps him productive even when he's numb. Morning. No phone, no noise. One ritual. Repeat it until your body moves before your brain catches up. Work. Split your focus. 2 hours deep, 15 minutes detached. Protect this loop like armor. Evening. Audit, review, adjust. Make correction a daily act, not a yearly regret. Understand, systems are not cages, they're exoskeletons. They don't trap you, they protect you. They keep you upright when life tries to break your spine. You must stop chasing balance and start designing it. Your energy, your time, your focus, every element should serve one command: sustain performance. Because the truth is brutal. No man stays sharp by accident. Sharpness requires maintenance. Maintenance requires method. This is the quiet reason the samurai outlasted their enemies. Their power was not passion, it was precision. Every time you repeat a structured act, you declare war on chaos. Every time you review your weak, you amputate weakness. Every time you refine your system, you evolve your weapon. And one day, without realizing it, you'll wake up calm, not because life got easier, but because you became engineered for it. That's the final stage of order. Not forcing control, but becoming control. Listen, son. A fire that never learns to breathe will consume itself. And a man who never learns to pause will collapse under the weight of his own drive. You've burned through months of demolition, reconstruction, and discipline. Now you stand forged, but fragile. This is where most men fall. They confuse exhaustion with excellence. They mistake constant motion for mastery. The samurai never did. They understood ma, the sacred pause between actions. That space between strikes where the blade, the breath, and the body align. That pause was not weakness, it was weaponry. You see, control isn't about doing everything. It's about knowing when to do nothing. Most men grind until their minds turn blunt. They brag about fatigue as if it's proof of progress. But listen carefully. A tired man cannot think, and a man who cannot think cannot win. The discipline of fire is not to burn, it's to burn with rhythm, intensity, pause, intensity again. That's how endurance is built. That's how mastery survives. When Musashi retired to the cave, he didn't stop training. He changed the training. His weapon was no longer the sword, it was reflection. His battle was no longer outside, it was within. He called this rhythm Hyoshi, the tempo of life itself. So you must learn this. Train with focus, rest with intention. When you sleep, make it recovery. When you rest, make it reflection. When you retreat, make it refinement. Here's how a warrior rests. He disconnects from noise. He studies his movement. He rewires his thoughts. He returns sharper than he left. Rest is not permission to decay. It's preparation for dominance. You've learned how to destroy, how to rebuild, how to discipline, and how to design systems. Now you must learn how to sustain. Because a man who burns too hot dies as ash, but the one who learns to manage his flame becomes immortal.
Remember this. There's power in restraint. A sword that never returns to its sheath dulls faster. A mind that never resets loses clarity. And a warrior who never retreats forgets why he fights. Balance is not softness. It's sophistication. It's what separates the reckless from the refined. It's what turns effort into elegance. When your rhythm becomes controlled fire, when your rest becomes fuel, you've crossed into a higher discipline, composure under chaos. And that's the secret Musashi died with. The understanding that a man's true power is not in how fiercely he burns, but in how calmly he controls the flame. Listen, son. Every man begins as chaos, restless, distracted, loud. He spends years chasing order, in money, in women, in validation, but never in himself.
He keeps trying to add control instead of becoming it.
The samurai knew better. They didn't chase peace, they trained it. Because when you master discipline long enough, you don't perform it anymore. You embody it. You stop needing reminders. You stop needing motivation. You become the rhythm that others try to follow. This final phase is not about becoming stronger. It's about becoming simpler. It's about refinement. You've already built the system. Now you become the system. Every action, deliberate. Every thought, measured. Every response, restrained. You move with the quiet certainty of a man who no longer doubts himself. You don't panic when things fall apart. You simply adjust the rhythm. You don't wait for opportunity. You design it. Your life runs on order, precise, predictable, unshakable. That's what Musashi discovered in his final days. After decades of duels, he withdrew from the noise and entered the cave at Raigando. No more blades, no more applause, just silence and himself. There, he wrote the Book of 5 Rings, distilling a lifetime of war into pure wisdom. He didn't teach how to fight. He taught how to exist. Because mastery isn't about conquering others. It's about mastering your own impulses. That's where you are now. You've walked through destruction. You've built, you've burned, you've rebuilt again. And now you're calm. Not because life got easier, but because you got harder. This is the phase where emotion dies and precision reigns, where you stop reacting and start orchestrating. You are not moved by the world anymore. You move the world by your example. When you reach this point, your routine becomes your nature. You no longer ask, "How long will this take?" Because you understand that the journey is the destination. You don't crave results, you crave refinement. You no longer seek validation because your consistency has already crowned you. And that's what makes you immortal. Not a name carved on stone, but a discipline carved in time. A rhythm so exact that it echoes in the men who follow after you. A structure so solid that it continues even in your absence. Because when a man becomes system, he outlives himself. He doesn't need legacy, he is legacy. He doesn't need the world's recognition, his order becomes its proof. So hear this truth and let it burn into your bones. The goal was never to win. The goal was never to conquer. The goal was to become untouchable. Calm under chaos, faithful under fatigue, focused under fire. That's the samurai way. To fight without fighting, to master without boasting, to endure without breaking. And when all the noise fades and only rhythm remains, the world will remember your silence because it was precise. In 3 months, you won't just change your life. You'll bury the version of you that begged for peace and walk out
as the one who is peace.